Welcome to Monday morning, August the 4th. Remember, don't trade what you can't afford to lose. Two trades today, SNGX. And we start right off. And we're looking at this, and it didn't look like there was anything else out there, starting at right around 6 o'clock there before market opens. And we decided to go ahead and just take a small trade, 30 shares to start. And the stock looked strong. And also, it didn't look like there was anything else out there. I had marked out a couple of other stocks, PBM and INMB, but they weren't really moving. Verb was the only one moving in pre-market and had a nice move, but that was a little too higher price for us at that point. And I want to touch on something as we watch this. I wanted to cut it up, and I did, but I want to let it go so that you guys can watch and I can comment about the past 2 weeks. So in the last 2 weeks in July, I started posting to YouTube, and I think watching some of those videos over the weekend, I noticed that what I was doing is because I was going to post to YouTube with that purpose in mind, I started to hunt for stocks that would give me an opportunity to trade them and make a little bit of money. And while the going was good, and in a couple of days, I did not do well, and I wound up losing for the month about $88. Last Friday, however, we did well. We picked up about $50, and we actually did well today. Two trades, 2 for 2 is 100%, and we picked up $25. And so between Friday and today, I've already made up over 60% of what I lost in July, and we have plenty of days to go in August. That's no cause for celebration yet. We still have the rest of the month to to make up and to stay steady and patient. But my point is, in hunting for stocks, I did not pick the stocks that I knew I needed to take. So today, with that in mind, I was going to wait for the market, and I've mentioned this before, take what the market will give you. Do not try to take from the market. The minute you try to take from the market any amount, you will lose. So today we decided to just wait and hold it out. One of the lessons I learned from pre-market over the past 2 weeks is that you're going to have to set up your support and resistance levels, and you're going to have to not panic. And that's what I did not do in this trade. If you notice here, I did actually go in a little high at 417 because I thought it was going to go higher. And I did have an orange line down there that I had drawn previously, and the stock just blasted right through it. But SNGX was also a continuation of last week, so we didn't know whether or not to trust it. Now, right here begins to build a head and shoulders pattern, and it becomes dangerous. But I decided to hold on to it, even as you see the MACD there crossing down underneath the single line. And it was only because I was watching level 2, and it looked like there were buyers coming in. Number 2, there weren't that many other stocks. BTBD was creeping up, but it didn't seem to have the same fervor. It didn't seem to have the same push upwards. And so buyers appear to be divided between BTBD, CASI, Verb, and SNGX. So with 4 stocks, it looked like there was enough volume for all 4 to slightly move up. So I decided to hold on to SNGX and then just leave this one alone. I did check BTBD, I did check CASI, and I didn't think at the time, at least at 6:10 with 20 minutes to go to the open, that they had an opportunity to go up. So what I'm watching here is in trying to make a decision whether I stop out and lose $6-10 and move on to one of the other stocks, is just watching those other stocks and see how quickly they're moving. We've already discarded Verb as too high priced. BTBD seems to have a steady, but it also price, but it also steps back down. CASI doesn't have that much of a assurance. There's a nice push right here, and I become confident enough that I'm going to jump in and buy some more. I don't get filled the first time because I have it set to day and the options. But once I correct that, I go ahead and add another 100 shares. And it's still a little bit risky. But what I'm looking at is that curve from 427 to high a day. You see that curve into a green bar, and with good level 2 and time and sales remaining steady, I go ahead and jump in. Now it's a waiting game. And I did cut a lot of the parts here where it goes back and forth. It has a little bit of a swing spread there, as you notice. And the more shares you take, the more money you're going to be likely to lose if you get stopped out. But I do like that that wick, even though it's got a topping tail there. And I like the fact that the green bar, 2 bars before that, is right above the 20. And here, sure enough, starts to move up. And now I was kind of hoping 450, 460 for this stock because I think it's going to go over the high a day, reaches a new high a day there. And so I was hoping for $12, $15 out of it. But here it begins to sort of dwindle down. And we can see on the gappers watch list here that BTBD has come down from 260 to about 240, and CASI it's nowhere to be seen as moving at the moment. So that means SNGX is probably going to remain a good buy for right now, and so I continue to keep it. Like and subscribe if you like the video. If you like the insights, if you like my trades. If you don't, likewise, leave a comment below. If you have questions, I'll get back to you and answer them. So we're in a seesaw battle here, but the fact that those topping tails are green gives me confidence enough to remain in the trade, even though if we look at the MACD, it doesn't look that promising. And at this point, I began to think about starting to scale out. But it does begin to show some strength. Now we've got 6 green bars in a row. It looks pretty good. And at this point, it's time to start getting out. I don't see it here hitting 450, 460. It's going to be a little bit difficult. And sure enough, you see the gappers watch list drop and bring CASI into play. So folks who are day trading and who want to quickly get in and get out, they're getting out. So we get out with almost $8, which is good. And I left this here for the next couple of minutes to show you guys one of the things that you can do without having to trade is go on to, once you move on from the simulator, go into the live market and watch the stocks, watch your bars, watch your technicals, level 2, time and sales, and draw some trend lines. And don't take any trades, just draw the trend lines. Because when you begin to draw trend lines and they begin to hit, you will increase your accuracy, and then you will understand uh, when to take trades. So here, logic would say, well, the open is coming up, SNGX is at the top. We should go all in because it'll probably pop up at open. 629, less than 40 seconds to the open, and I'm thinking that's not going to happen. I'm thinking that SNGS is going to take a dive. Now, I'm still thinking that it's going to kick up, but I don't know. And you see me draw lines there. I have an orange line, which I think is support, a green line, which is a midline of where it needs to be above so that it can trade higher. And then the cyan line, which tells me what is the top value. And there is another line way up at the top, I think way over $5, where I think it just won't get past it. But it is a continuation stock. And as you can see here, it begins to wind down. And as we see, it'll hit that bottom, drop right below VWAP, right below the 200, and go to all places where the stocks go to die below VWAP. So had I taken a trade and not drawn those trend lines, I would have lost money. If I'm thinking bullish and I'm thinking that this stock is going to go up. So now we're 3 minutes into the market open, and it starts to pick up. And there are some folks who are willing to take a trade here, thinking it has hit the bottom. However, when we focus back on our gappers, we see quite a few moving up, and we see BTBD moving way up. Now, BTBD started moving up, and you can see there are a lot of green bars. And the only reason I didn't take it was because I wasn't sure. It had news, but again, CASI was moving a little bit. PBM was moving a little bit, so I wasn't sure. So what I decided to do was just wait. And I didn't draw any trend lines here, but I had sort of a mental note. And I started to wait. And I remember something someone mentioned before it. And they said, if you see a stock going to $5, don't trade it before it hits 5. Wait till it hits 5 and then see if it goes beyond that. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. It's just something that came back to my mind, and I decided to wait. I see a what appears to be a double top there, and so I'm holding. And I draw a green line. I say, if it's going to come back down, it's going to probably hit that line, and somewhere right before that green line is where we're going to want to take a trade. Now, of course, this is all speculation, and it may or may not happen the way you expect it to happen. We see, there it goes, almost hit the green line. That would have been the place to take a trade right there. You would feel confident that it's going to go back up. But again, we don't know whether it's going to build a Christmas tree right here and come on down. I have no indication here, no curls, nothing. The only thing I see is the MACD curling down towards the signal line, volume slowing down. And there isn't a huge amount of bids on the level 2. So I decide to wait. But the 20 is a good area of support. And so this one turned out to have a little bit of a whiplash and a huge spread. Even though the label up there said the spread is only like 1 to 3 cents, the spread was more like 20 cents. Here we jump ahead a little bit, and now we begin to wait. But the MACD and the volume are still low, so we're not going to take a trade. We're not going to risk losing we're $7, almost $8 up. We're not going to risk losing and having a losing day. But again, as I spoke of last Friday, this BTBD was a great stock to practice on with one share, because you can guess, you can draw your trend lines, and think about where you're going to go. The 5-minute doesn't look convincing to me with that big red volume bar there. And now we've got three, almost the close of a 3 green bars with topping tails. But nevertheless, it keeps moving up. So at the 20 would have been where the trade, at the green line would have been where you would want to take a trade if you want to take a gamble. I did not want to take a gamble. And that's just me exercising patience and a lot of common sense and not wanting to lose. Now what happens? Obviously, I missed what is it, 380 to 469. So 70, 80. I missed 80 cents right there for not jumping in, but that's okay. We protected our capital. We still have our almost $8, and we're okay. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to watch this, and if it has some strength, if it starts to move up, if we believe that it's going to do better and to go higher, then we'll jump in. Now I have a little curl there. See 2 red bars, and it curls up, and it looks like it's going to double top there, right underneath that orange line, and then we got a couple of red bars. So now we got to wait and see. Okay, we're looking at the MACD to see what that MACD blue line does. All of a sudden, there's a huge jump here, and now, as it goes above the orange line, it finally broke through, so now there's an opportunity. Now, the thing I do realize here is the opportunity is very small and shorter. So there was a chance to make 80 cents from that green line to the orange line, but that's not going to happen here. So we're going to be careful. Indecision there with that green bar and topping tail and bottoming tail. And we continue to watch level 2. We continue to watch time and sales. And at this point, it looks like it's going to go into consolidation there. You can see on the 133 tick mark, it's just snaking through that orange line. And you can see the spread there from 463 to 5. Now there's less bids. You see the bids are not into double digits there. There's one in there in double digits, but most are single digit bids and asks, which tells me there isn't the strength is not there. And at this point, CASI is moving and I can see it, but I am not sure that CASI, I think I put support lines and resistance on that. And I thought 228 was the max on CASI. So I'm not going to risk switching now, going over to CSI when I've already studied this stock here, and I think there's an opportunity here. So much like you're hunting, much like you're fishing, you need to be patient and wait for that opportunity to come. And it's almost here. Now we see 2 green candles and we're above the orange, and now we just got to wait here and see if it's really going to push some volume. And we see the MACD starting to lift off, so we go in. We don't get filled, so we wait. We get filled again. Now we get filled, and you notice, look at that swing. It's wild. And so we sell out. Boom. We take whatever was off the top, it hits 530, and then it starts to curl down. And I don't think for the next hour or two that it ever makes it back there again. It just stays consolidating below 450. So we had a good day, 25 bucks. We'll take it. Tomorrow will be another day. We're looking for more of the same. Like and subscribe, leave your comments, and appreciate you. Have a great day.